partying. Good evening, everyone. I had to call meeting to order at 5 p.m. We acknowledge that the land on which we gather is Treaty 2 land, traditional territory of Anishinaabe, Cree, Ojibwe, Assiniboine, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and homeland of the Red River Métis Nation. We affirm our commitment to moving forward in partnership with Indigenous communities in a spirit of collaboration and reconciliation. Moved by Councillor Daly and seconded by Councillor Stakalo, be it resolved that we accept the regular council meeting agenda as presented. All those in favor? No one opposed? Seeing none, motion is carried. Moved by Councillor Ray, seconded by Deputy Mayor Laughlin, be it resolved that we waive the reading and accept and approve the minutes from the following meetings, and those are the regular council meeting, our last meeting on August the 11th, and our special council meeting of August the 18th. All those in favor of that resolution? Anyone opposed? Carried. Moving to the consent agenda, a couple of outstanding water accounts added to taxes. Roll number 0106200 in the amount of $222.67. The tenant did not pay the final water bill. The roll 0142700 $189.87. Same reason, the tenant did not pay the final water bill. And on roll number 0225700 in the amount of $1,611.72, the owner did not pay the final water bill. We have several proclamations this week. We'll go around the table and see who's up first with Rail Safety Week.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Whereas Rail Safety Week is to be held across Canada from September 15th to the 21st, 2025, and whereas 261 railway crossings and trespassing incidents occurred in Canada back in 2024, resulting in 68 avoidable fatalities and 58 avoidable serious injuries. And whereas it is in the public's interest to raise citizens' awareness of the danger of ignoring safety warnings at level crossings and trespassing on rail property to reduce avoidable deaths, injuries, and damage caused by incidents involving trains and citizens. And whereas Operation Lifesaver is a public and private partnership whose aim is to work with the public, rail industry, governments, police services, media, and others to raise rail safety awareness. And whereas CN has requested that City Council adopt this resolution in support of its ongoing efforts to raise awareness, save lives, and prevent injuries in communities, including our municipality. Now, therefore, we, the Council of the City of Dauphin, do hereby proclaim September 15th to the 21st this year as Rail Safety Week.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Laughlin. Move on to the next proclamation. This is Right to Know Week.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Whereas reasonable access to information is fundamental to a democratic society, and whereas Right to Know Day is celebrated around the world every September 28th to mark the benefits of transparent, accessible government, and whereas Right to Know Week is recognized in communities across Canada from September 22 to the 28th, 2025, and whereas in Manitoba, the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act and the Personal Health Information Act apply to the public sector bodies, including the City of Dauphin, and enable persons to obtain access to records subject to specific limited expectations. And whereas it is important to highlight and observe the importance of open and accountable government, the City of Dauphin Council do hereby proclaim September 22 to 28th, 2025 as Right to Know Week.
Thank you, Mayor Sobering. Councillor Sobering. I just about choked on my cough candy. Move on to the next proclamation, Truth and Reconciliation Week and National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. Councillor Ray.
Thank you, Mayor. Whereas the Truth and Reconciliation Commission released its final report on June 2nd, 2015, which included 94 calls to action to redress the legacy of residential schools and to provide a framework for all levels of government to repair the painful legacy of our colonial history and to move forward with reconciliation. And whereas unmarked graves at residential schools in Manitoba and across the country have raised awareness about the truth of residential schools and the need to honor survivors and remember the children who did not make it home. And whereas, in response to recommendation 80 of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, the federal government, in collaboration with Indigenous peoples, has proclaimed September 30th to be a federal statutory holiday to be recognized as the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. And whereas the City of Dauphin recognizes that public remembrance of the history of the residential schools is a vital component of the reconciliation process, and whereas the City of Dauphin and its employees will be observing the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, previously known as Orange Shirt Day, on September 30th, 2025, to provide time to reflect on the legacy of the residential school system and its impact on Indigenous communities. Now, therefore, we, the Council of the City of Dauphin, do hereby proclaim September 22nd to the 26th, 2025, as Truth and Reconciliation Week, and September 30th, 2025, as National Day for Truth and Reconciliation.
Thank you, Councillor Ray. And we have one final proclamation, that being Police and Peace Officers National Memorial Day, and that's Councillor Daly.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Whereas Canadian police and peace officers make valuable contributions to the safety of Canadians, and in 1998, the Government of Canada proclaimed the last Sunday in September of every year to be Police and Peace Officers National Memorial Day. And whereas memorial services are held in communities across the country on the last Sunday of September of every year to commemorate those police and peace officers who were killed in the line of duty. And whereas members of the Parkland RCMP detachment are committed to the highest professional standards and work in partnership with our community to meet the challenges of reducing crime, creating a safe environment, and improving our quality of life. And whereas we join together with Manitobans and Canadians across the country to recognize and thank those who serve every day and accept the risks to their safety, and we honor those who have made the ultimate sacrifice in the performance of their duties. Now, therefore, we, the Council of the City of Dauphin, do hereby proclaim September 28th, 2025 as Police and Peace Officers National Memorial Day.
Thank you for that, Councillor Daly. We've got a number of filing items under the consent agenda. The newsletter from the Intermountain Watershed District for April to June, the Community Futures Parkland newsletter for September, Prairie Mountain Health Plus newsletter for September, Growing Manitoba Ag newsletter for September, the Friendship Center newsletter for September and October, and a Manitoba news release about from the Department of Families investing to advance provincial FASD strategy, and from the Association of Manitoba Municipalities, a news release around Manitoba's demanding action on bail reform and policing. Moved by Councillor Daly, seconded by Deputy Mayor Laughlin, be it resolved that all items listed in red under item 5, the consent agenda, be approved and form part of these minutes. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? And that motion is carried. Moved by Councillor Sticalo and seconded by Councillor Ray. Resolution regarding the city manager's report for the month of August. I'll turn it over to Charlotte to hit some highlights from her report, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I apologize for the lateness of me submitting the report. If anybody has questions after, I'd be happy to discuss some of the highlights from August for myself. At the end of July, the Arm of Dauphin welcomed a new CAO, Mr. Grady Stevenson, as and I've known Grady for a couple years now, and it was great to have some early meetings with him at the beginning of August and actually throughout August. One of the topics we've been discussing is recreation, as well as other things that are important between our two municipalities. And so I look forward to continuing to work with Grady and the others in the RM office. In terms of human resources, we welcome Justin Dekarchuk as our new project and development manager. That also was in August. Justin was with us as our information and communications technology manager prior to that. The position will be overseeing some projects that span several departments, that are council priorities, that reach into the community, or that departments need help with. He hit the ground running and is moving several outside projects along while the weather allows for it, but not in a big downpour like we're having right now. Last thing I highlighted was the AMM Cities Caucus meeting. So for about 13 years now, the AMM Cities Caucus for their fall meeting, has been meeting in one of the cities, one of the 10 cities in Manitoba. This year, Steinbach hosted the meeting, and in all fairness, they wanted to show off their $78 million facility that houses a gymnasium, walking track, some meeting rooms, restaurant and lounge, a sports history museum area, as well as an arena, the home of the MJHL Steinbach Pistons. It's always interesting how much information or how much discussion we could pack into a short, approximate 4 or so hour period. We had a presentation from Manitoba Justice, the Assistant Deputy Minister Owen Ferguson, and he talked about the Manitoba's wildfire response, Manitoba Justice initiatives, crime rates, RCMP contracts for municipal policing, RCMP staffing rates, and the concept of regional law enforcement. We had a representative from the AMM, Senior Policy Analyst Nick Krawitz, talk about AMM advocacy. We had presentations from the City of Flin Flon, Thompson, and Portage regarding wildfire response. 3 communities, 3 affected, 3 differently. City of Flin Flon actually evacuated, so that was their perspective. City of Thompson received thousands of evacuees, but they were also preparing to evacuate. They never did, but that was a different response as well. And the City of Portage received evacuees, quite a few. And so that was interesting hearing those stories, and even more than interesting, lessons learned, how to prepare, how to do the things that they did right, and how to learn from them. City of Portage led a discussion about bail reform. It seems that we hear on the news so many times somebody committed a crime and they were out on bail. So that is an initiative that the AMM Cities Caucus issued a press release indicating all of the city's support for bail reform. City of Steinbach discussed some creative security or community safety strategies that they're employing, including hiring a security company to patrol certain areas of their community at night. City of Winkler discussed their struggles with e-scooters and e-bikes. And I have to admit that when they were talking about it, I thought, this is kind of interesting. I can't say that that's something that was high on my priority list. But from hearing the discussion around the room, and then I believe I might have been in Portage since then and thought, oh my gosh, these e-scooters are something else. I'm traveling 50 kilometers an hour on a main street and they passed me on the sidewalk with an e-scooter, no helmet, dodging pedestrians. So that was that kind of maybe brought it to the forefront. So they were exploring like what other communities are doing in terms of, do we need speed limits? Do we need some mandatory safety gear? Do we need to keep them on the sidewalks or ban them from the sidewalks or that kind of thing? So I think in a nutshell, it was a great day spent with colleagues from other cities. We got to see that while sometimes we think we're unique, we're not. Everybody is dealing with some degree of the same situations. And I think by advocating together, we can see some change. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Any questions for Charlotte from anyone? If not, call for the question, and all in favor of opposed? Carried. Moved by Councillor Ray, seconded by Councillor Daly, that we accept the Deputy City Manager's report for August, and I'll turn it over to Lisa to highlight some of the points in her report, please.
Thank you, Mayor Bosiak. Just like to note that City Bylaw Enforcement has been very busy this summer enforcing property standards, and we ask residents to continue to maintain grass and weeds at a height lower than 5 inches, and please trim back hedges, trees, and bushes to keep the sidewalks and the back lanes accessible. Residents are also reminded that they're responsible for removing graffiti from the properties, and the city does offer support through the Graffiti Removal Support Program to assist with removal work. And if anyone would like more information on this program, they can visit dauphin.ca or call 622-3200. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions from members of council? Councillor Sobering.
Yeah, no, just how's the response been so far with the graffiti? Just anecdotally, I guess.
Well, so far, I think we had over 100 kits, and we've only given out about 16. So we really want to spread the word, which is why I wanted to make note of that this evening. So we do have a lot more kits available, and the bylaw enforcement officer is now going to be issuing notices to people with graffiti so that they will be required to remove it, but we also provide the support through the kits as well. So that should increase the uptake on the kits. Before the snow falls. We want to get some of this graffiti removed. Thanks.
Anyone else? Call for the question, and all in favor of accepting the report. Anyone opposed? Carried. Thank you. Moved by Deputy Mayor Lachlan, seconded by Councillor Stigalo. Be it resolved that the finance accounts, having been examined by council, be authorized and approved as follows. We had 180 checks in the last run, totaling $3,507,890.81. There were no voided checks in the current or past ranges, and there were several electronic payments. We had EFT and electronic payments totaling $78,346.11, and an additional 6 transfers totaling $303,350.78. Any questions or comments regarding the financial summary with the check run? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Moved by Councillor Stigalo, seconded by Councillor Ray. Be resolved that council accepts the unaudited financial statements for the period ending June 30th and July 31st inclusive, and that's for the general fund balance sheet and income statement and the utility fund balance sheet and income statement. Any questions or comments regarding these two reports? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Moved by Councillor Daly, seconded by Councillor Ray. Be it resolved that we accept as information the reserve reports provided for the periods ending June 2025 and July 2025. Any questions regarding the reserve report? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Lachlan, seconded by Councillor Stigalo. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the budget variance analysis for the period ending July 2025. Questions or comments regarding this report? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Moved by Councillor Ray, seconded by Deputy Mayor Lachlan. Be it resolved that council accepts as info the engineering report from the Director of Public Works for August of 2025. And Bernardo, is there anything you wanted to speak to in your report?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good afternoon, everyone, and good evening. So this will be my first report for my job, and my first month, I would say, is very challenging because of these ongoing projects and the learning about, and then outstanding works that needs to be done. The learning about the culture. What I meant for that is I know how could I handle my team. So, and introducing to myself to the community. But I'm excited, and I hope you could guide me as well. So, in my report, I want to base my report based on what's happening. So, I work on the major ongoing projects that we have right now. That is wastewater treatment lagoon expansion and upgrade projects. I put there is a 13% of the project cost. So the reason why I am putting this on report for you to be aware of how much we are spending to the lagoon, and I have that the 12 change order because I want to monitor how are they doing the change order because to see if that is relevant to the projects and to make sure that it's aligned with our objectives. So the most important things for this wastewater treatment lagoon expansion projects is the notice of alteration or NOAA for our environmental act license. I would commend the effort given by our city manager for his to make this happen because it's very complicated one and we need something that because this is an important milestone that will fast track the implementation of the projects. So the next item that we would like to share with you is the capital reconstruction projects, which I would say they have a 58% completion as of this date, and they have a 1% additional order for their project. And I would apologize that this still not yet been done. I still have to rely on the report given by the person who is managing. But rest assured, next year we will correct how the system works for them, because I don't believe that we should be waiting for the contractors to do what they are doing here. So with regards to the number 3 item, this cured in place concrete lining projects, we have some sort of a change order, because the one that we scheduled today this year has some problematic issues. The CCTV camera cannot penetrate the what's inside the pipe. So we decided to transfer it to another street, but we will be having an additional 97 meters, and that will be on the 7th Avenue. And it only represent that additional cost, represent only 6% variance for the actual cost. And the fourth one is the Maui Park storm drainage. Sorry. Right now it was done, and yeah, it's and I would like to commend the good work performed by our new utility supervisor and his crew. And then there is a projects in collaboration, like our city managers have said, the project and development manager. We have a very good working relation, wherein we are working on the active transportation network, which is gaining traction, and hopefully next council meeting we will be presenting the easement agreement with the Assiniboine College, and together with the Manitoba Hydro. There is also a turntable removal projects. I believe this is a very controversial one, but our PDM was able to accomplish this, and from initiating to closing, that is the concept of the project management. And the shop renovation, which is a cold storage building, we have we have to send. He has to send up a new RFP to align with because the RFP that we have received is a very is too much. So we decided to re-advertise it, and true enough, we got a good result for the bidding. And then we are working with the fire department RFP as well. With these ongoing projects and the proposed, I categorize it as and that this will be the Manitoba Water Services Board Water and Sewer Study Capacity. I believe this is our proactive plan for of the City of Dauphin to prepare ourselves for future development. And our city manager is very I commended her for her proactive approach for this. So and then the second one is the report from Public Works Foreman, and it's enumerated here. And then the report from Utility Foreman, which I have, it's here as well. So if you have question, then you could ask me later. But part of my report is the wish list. This is one is very personalized for me, because when me and Councilor Sabring walked down there, and he mentioned to me about that crosswalk, I became fascinated on how we could have that implemented. I know it was torn down last year, but I believe that with a better argument or case, we could make it happen. And part of the things that we are doing now is uh, actually, I already started to gathering the information, and there is also I believe on the course of my action is we have sent a letter to Manitoba Infrastructure, Manitoba Transportation, wherein we need to reroute the PTH 5A, and that if that will happen, this will be a very big milestone for us, so we could do it on our own. But I think we believe this will be a political signature of the of the mayor. So I've been coordinating this with our EDM, and then yeah. So I put down the current issues and updates because I don't know in case you will be aware of some problem that we have, and this one is we have there is a resident who has some problem with his driveway. I have here the timelines wherein and I've been telling them, and since it is a private driveway, the only reason that the city or I going there is because we have a moral obligation to mitigate that floodings. It's a private driveway, but people will not will judge us because the city if we will not be dealing that issues. And so far, we are fortunate that I got the acknowledgement of the other party that that they need to do some rectification of their works. So yeah, and then the next one is the outstanding work at storm drainage and retention system. Apparently, they have still a deficiencies that they need to be done. There's some conversation with the contractors because some items that they don't like. No, no. Uh, they are reluctant to do, but I stood our ground, my ground that item of work that is needs to be done. So yeah, and then they're cooperating. And then the third one for the my report with the current issues is because somebody called me that requesting for the audible signals at Mountain and River Avenue. So since I emailed the traffic engineering branch to inform them about this request, and they acknowledged that. And then when I talked to Mike, he told me that the request has been done, I think this year. But the person that he talked, and which I was able to communicate, was there is some issues that needs to be addressed, but apparently it will be done next year. So I called the person who made the request and informed him about the situation. So yeah, I believe. Sorry for that long story, but I will be welcoming any feedback from my report, and I will be glad for the suggestion that would enhance my performance and better serve the city. Thank you.
Thanks, Bernardo. Any questions for Bernardo? No?
Just,
Oh,
just,
sorry,
just.
Steve, then Ted.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead, Ted.
No, I just was gonna mention, Bernardo, that I really like the pictures added to your report because I'm kind of a visual learner and it makes a connection with me as to what you're talking about and what's being done. So I like that. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Councilor Ray. Actually, the picture is still. I will be improving it next. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, just more a comment. I know you've you really hit the ground running, and it's much appreciated. I know right after our meeting where we're discussing the technical details of the craft district, we were we immediately left the building and went for a walk, and I thought, wow, what an important thing. We're actually going to go and check it out. For someone new to the community, you get a sense of what it is and where it is, and I feel like I've all of these projects have kind of come within your sphere of influence. So obviously not an easy role to take over, but yeah, obviously by the report here, it seems like you've got a lot on your plate, but you're handling it well. So yeah, keep up the good work.
Thank you, Councilor Sabri. It's just like it's my passion to do what is right.
I'm glad you don't have a passion to do what is wrong. Thanks. Call for the question. All in favor of accepting that report? Anyone opposed? Motion is carried. Moved by Councillor Sobering, seconded by Councillor Daly. The building inspector report for the September meeting, a month of August. Any questions or comments regarding what's in the report from Dave? Call for the question. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Moved by Councillor Sticalo, seconded by Councillor Ray, that we accept the protective service report from the bylaw officer for the month of August. Anything in that report anyone wants to comment on? Call for the question, then all in favor? Opposed? Carried. Moved by Councillor Ray, seconded by Deputy Mayor Laughlin. Protective Services report from Animal Services for the month of August. Any questions or comments regarding Animal Services report? Call for the question. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Moved by Councillor Sobering, seconded by Councillor Sticalo, that we accept as information the minutes and report from the following committee, and that's the Intermountain Watershed District, their regular meeting of June the 19th, and their 2024-25 annual report. Any questions or comments regarding this report? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Moved by Councillor Daly, seconded by Deputy Mayor Laughlin. Whereas the city released an RFP on August the 21st for the construction of a post-frame storage building at the Public Works Shop, which closed on September the 5th. Be it resolved that council accepts as information a memo dated September 15th from the project and development manager, noting that 2 submissions were received and recommending that the RFP be awarded to Prairie Post Frame for a cost not to exceed $97,820 plus taxes. Further be resolved that council agrees with the project development manager's recommendation and authorizes the RFP for the post frame building on the public workshops for the listed amount to Prairie Post Frame. Further be resolved that council authorizes the contract with the Prairie Post Frame to be signed and sealed by the mayor and city manager on behalf of the city. Questions or comments? All in favor? Motion is carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Laughlin, seconded by Councillor Ray. Be it resolved that council accepts an informal memo dated August 14th from the building inspector regarding the proposal to subdivide part of southeast section or quarter section 42519, lot 4, plan 65947 for owner Highway 10 Developments Limited, care of Lance Delorier and Balkan and Kolchicki Surveys. And further be resolved that council approves the subdivision application with the following conditions: that the applicant meet the conditions as identified by Community Planning Services and subject to the applicant satisfying these requirements as indicated in the submitted Community Planning Services report respecting tenant land titles that Manitoba Hydro and Central Gas, Bell MTS, Westman Communications, and Manitoba Transportation Infrastructure. That site development of the subdivided property is subject to a sanitary lift station and sanitary services contribution of costs established to connect to the constructed sanitary gravity system servicing as established in the fees, fines, and charges bylaw. And third, that lots surface drainage, the building layout, and grading is the property owner's responsibility. It is recommended that it be done in consultation and cooperation with the City of Dauphin and the development agreement requirements and the adjacent property owners. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Anyone opposed? That motion is carried. Moved by Councillor Sobering, seconded by Councillor Daly, whereas the City Engineering Department 8-year-old large format printer and plotter has failed and unexpectedly and irreparably, and its placement was not included in the 2025 financial plan. Be it resolved that council accepts as information a memo dated September 15th from the project and development manager, noting that 3 quotes for a new plotter were received and recommends purchasing an Epson T5170M from Spicers Canada for $6,175 plus taxes. Further be resolved that council agrees with this recommendation and authorizes the purchase with the funds to be drawn from the machinery reserve. Questions or comments? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Moved by Councillor Ray, seconded by Deputy Mayor Lachlan. Whereas the City of Dauphin Bylaw 3325, which is the standards for mobile homes, only provides for mobile homes not exceeding 10 years of age, be it resolved that Council accepts as information correspondence dated August 27th from Len Lundstedt, owner of Triangle Home Mobile Park, requesting approval to move a mobile home older than 10 years to lot number 65 at 74 Triangle Road. Further be resolved that Council accepts as info the memo dated September 9th from the building inspector reviewing the application and approving it to move in the 2009 mobile home with the following conditions. And further be resolved that Council approves the request with these said conditions, and they are: a development permit is required from our office for the moved-in mobile home. The cost of the permit is $150. That the mobile home must comply with CSA standards. And regarding site preparation, foundation, and anchorage of mobile homes, that no structural connections are permitted for additions. That the mobile home park owner must sign the permit and approve the move-in. And when the mobile home is moved onto the site and upon inspection, if the mobile home appears to be modified, provincial safety standards and inspection will be required, and any deficiencies discovered will be required to be corrected to allow the mobile home to stay in the home park. Questions or comments regarding this resolution? All in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion is carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Lachlan, seconded by Councillor Sakala. Whereas municipal tendering procurement policy 421 provides guidelines for the sale of surplus vehicles, and equipment. And whereas at the regular meeting of March the 24th, Council approved the purchase of a Model 2025 Freightliner cabin chassis top mount enclosed pumper truck for the City of Dauphin's Fire Department, and the 2011 Crimson Spartan fire pumper has been identified to be removed from use. Be it resolved that Council accepts as info a memo dated September 10th from the Fire Chief recommending that the 2011 fire pumper engine be advertised for sale on an as-is basis via competitive request for quotation process as outlined in our procurement policy. Further be resolved that Council agrees with the Fire Chief's recommendation and approves the advertising of the pumper through a competitive bid as outlined as above. Any questions or comments? No one wants to buy a pumper truck for fun on the lake in the summer? No? Well, put in a competitive bid. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion is carried. We could have bought it maybe and used it as a permanent float in the parades. Oh, man. Asleep at the wheel. Next motion, moved by Councillor Daly, seconded by Councillor Sakilo. Whereas the municipal tendering procurement policy 4.2.1 has been revised to remove the information and ICT manager position from Tier 2 Purchasing Authority and to add the new project development manager position to Tier 3 Purchasing Authority, which allows the PDM manager to procure goods and services with a value less than or equal to $30,000 as long as the expenditure is included in the annual financial plan. Be it resolved that Council accepts as info memo dated September 12th from the Deputy City Manager recommending that the municipal tendering and procurement policy, which incorporates these changes, be approved. And further be resolved that Council agrees with these recommendations to approve the new municipal tendering procurement policy 4.2.2. Questions or comments regarding this modification? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Lachlan, seconded by Councillor Ray. Whereas the city issued a RFP to provide audit services for the city corporation for the 3 years ending December 31st of 2027. And whereas one proposal was received from a qualified local professional accounting firm, be it resolved that Council accepts as info a memo dated September 7th from the Director of Finance regarding the tender process, results and analysis, and recommending that the audit services contract be awarded to MNP for a cost of $18,000 for 2025, $20,000 for 2026, and $22,000 for 2027. Further be resolved that Council accepts this recommendation to appoint MNP as the auditor for a 3-year period ending December 31st, 27. Questions or comments regarding this proposal? All in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion is carried. Moved by Councillor Daly, seconded by Deputy Mayor Loughlin. Be resolved that we accept as information the following invitations from the Friendship Center, pardon me, for their Truth and Reconciliation Day on September the 25th, and that's for me to attend and bring some greetings on behalf of the city, and I've accepted that invitation. The Canadian Centers for Safer Communities are having their annual conference from November the 4th to the 6th, and the Manitoba Association of Watersheds annual conference is being held on December 1st and 2nd. Questions or comments regarding any of these invitations? All in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. Moved by Councillor Ray, seconded by Deputy Mayor Loughlin. Be resolved that Council accepts as information the following community events being held: Curbside Giveaway Weekend, September 20th and 21st, and the Dauphin Kings Home Opener, September 20th. Questions or comments or additions to this list? All in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion is carried. We'll move to the councillor reports. How about we start? Daly, you made eye contact? With who? We'll start with Councillor Daly.
You never know. Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Pretty light schedule. August 18th, attended the PNP meeting here in Council Chambers. September 8th, I attended the MMF Community Advisory Board meeting. I'll do extra reporting on that in our next meeting. September 11th, worked on vet board updates and planning priorities. September 15th, this morning, attended with Councillors Sobering and Ray the Welcome Week open house here at City Hall. And that's it for me at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Daly. Councillor Ray.
Thank you, Mayor Boziak. August 26th, I attended a Community Safety and Wellbeing Teams meeting with CCFSC. On the 4th, I attended our Community Safety and Wellbeing Advisory Group Teams meeting. September 11th, I was present for the Sharps Committee meeting on Teams. September 12th, which is, I attended the Special Rec Committee meeting held here at City Hall. And on the 15th, which is today, I attended the open house held at City Hall. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Councillor Sticalo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Short report for myself. August 11th, regular council meeting, and August 18th, the special council meeting. And that's it. That is all for me. Thank you.
Deputy Mayor Loughlin.
Yeah, pretty straightforward for me as well. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. August 11th, regular council meeting here at City Hall. Just want to say congratulations to Cameron Winters being hired as the Chamber's new executive director. Of course, I'm the city representative on that board. It was mentioned as well, Dauphin Kings home opener coming up this Saturday at 7. Couple things to add there. Assiniboine College is the game sponsor. The tailgate party starts at 5. There's a light show and player introductions at 6:45 on Saturday. And of course, the game starts at 7. So we'll see everybody there, of course. Curbside giveaway also this weekend. It's always a fun event. You know what you're doing. You put out any unwanted items, reusable household items at the curb on front of your street with a sign or a sticker marked free. Always a fun weekend, fun couple days. I just want to remind everyone as well to be safe. Don't be ripping around town too quick. I know there's some great deals out there, but just drive slow on all the residential streets. And for me, that ends my report.
Councillor Sobering.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think I've logged in many hours this week, actually, at City Hall. I think everyone's kind of getting sick of seeing me, maybe. I attended the PMP meeting, an economic development meeting. I met with some developers. We met regarding the multi-use trail, tagged into an RMED meeting, talked about housing. So basically the highlights from all the meetings, the economic development side. So we got some updates on the craft district is well underway. It's great to see Bernardo's energy and enthusiasm on that project. As we mentioned earlier, it sounds like by the budget time, we should have some idea of costing to implement the vision. The makerspace, there is some construction underway, so stay tuned for that. And there's a lot of stuff going on in Dauphin. There is businesses opening. There is a new boutique. Flying Pig opened its doors. I want to congratulate Jennifer Richardson on her new venture. I believe there's a few others being announced and ready to open, but it just shows that there's a lot of good economic development going on in the city of Dauphin. I think the mayor's scissors are getting dull from cutting all those ribbons, possibly. The multi-use trail, another project that Justin Tkarchuk's one of his first ones, and Bernardo and the team are part of as well. Sounds like we're going to see something built before the snow flies. I've been promised, and it'll be an exciting one because it'll be connecting our college to our recreational spaces. And ultimately, we would look to do the next phase to the new daycare that's being constructed, also being operated by the college. So we're really looking forward to that all coming together. And I did go to the shop to pay my respects to the round table. It's been removed from where it was located, and it is sitting there on the yard looking for a new home. I was told that actually a lot of people have come to check it out. There is a chunk of the mechanism underneath. It's actually quite interesting to see the gears and the hydraulics and the cross section of the thing. So I'm really hopeful that it can find a new home with an explainer, and it'll be a really interesting piece of history that we can highlight. So maybe something good out of the loss of it, but it's looking really good at the shop. There's a lot more area to use for turnarounds and big heavy equipment, and everything was looking really good there. So this ends my report.
Thank you, Councillor Sobring. And I have nothing to add because Sean wants to get home. No. So with that, I'd like to call for the question. All in favor of accepting the council reports? Anyone opposed? Motion is carried. And I get a motion, Deputy Mayor Laughlin, seconded by Councillor Ray, that the meeting be recessed at 5:45 p.m. All in favor?